It certainly wasn't the prettiest win, but it was an absolutely necessary win. The Mavs get the job done tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who did not have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, obviously without Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren as well. Mavs don't have Luka Doncic, Derek Lively. So both teams clearly missing important pieces to the rotation in tonight's game. And the Mavs find a way to get the job done in this one, and a very important win for a Mavs team that has obviously struggled a lot as of late without Luka, including an absolutely brutal loss earlier this week that honestly I probably should have made a video on in the game against the Pelicans, where Trey Murphy absolutely committed a goaltend that would have given the Mavs the lead, and the refs don't call it, and the Mavs basically get screwed out of what would have been a likely win at the end of that game. That was a really tough loss, and this was a very important bounce back game, and it looked like at halftime the Mavs were going to run away with it. They were up 14, or they were up like 20 points, and then the Thunder come roaring back in the third quarter, start the quarter on a 26-6 run, and end the quarter only down by one. Mavs close it out in the fourth quarter though. Big shots by guys like Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyrie, Maxi Kleber with a big and one, Najee Marshall with a 3 and an and one back to back. Big performances all around from a lot of different guys late in tonight's game that managed to get the job done, and it was the type of win. Look, the Mavs ain't gonna lose against Oklahoma City if PJ Washington's playing. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm kind of trolling, but I mean, yeah, PJ Washington is kind of, it seems like, the key to being able to compete with the Thunder. Now, obviously, no Shai tonight is a big issue. Not to mention, obviously, no Hartenstein, no Chet. But the Mavs obviously are without their most important player in Luka and their best center as well. So there's big deficiencies on both sides. J-Dub struggled tonight overall. He made some tough shots in the second half, but 19 points, minus 12, which was a team worst besides Kendrick Williams. 7 of 22 from the field and 1 of 5 from 3. The Mavs did a good job making him work. And again, he's young. He's very talented. He does not seem to be a number one option though. And he does have a tendency, it seems, to not perform at his best in the biggest games and biggest moments as well, which is something that I think the Thunder are going to have to improve, or he's going to have to improve upon for the Thunder, because there are going to be moments that they need him down the stretch in playoff games. Obviously, the Thunder are still the favorites. I've made multiple videos praising the crap out of that team, and they deserve it. Tonight was not a fully healthy Thunder team, but they did still shoot 43.5% from three. The crazy thing about this team is it doesn't matter who's on the court. They're going to shoot the crap out of the ball, and they're going to play unbelievably hard in the defensive end of the court. I mean, you have to give them so much credit defensively. Even when shots weren't falling offensively, they especially did not shoot well from inside the arc, because from outside the arc, 43%. Inside the arc, they're 15 for 45 tonight, 33%. Not good at all for the Thunder. I think not having Shai and his rim pressure hurt this team offensively a lot tonight, obviously, but the Mavs shot well themselves. 39% from three, almost 50% from the field. Big performances from Najee Marshall, 14 points, season tied, 10 rebounds as well. Kyrie Irving's out here with 25 on 9 and 19, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. PJ Washington, as per normal, we know he's going to cook against the Thunder, and he did tonight. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal and a block. Daniel Gafford was not nearly as good tonight as he was earlier this week against New Orleans, in large part because he was in foul trouble for most of the game, only played 20 minutes. Spencer Dinwiddie's 5 of 13, 4 and 9 from 3, makes 2 huge threes down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Klay Thompson did not play great as a whole, but made a big shot as well early in the fourth quarter to take the lead. Or maybe it was late in the no, I think it was early in the fourth quarter to retake the lead when the game was 83-83. Even Maxi Kleber made a couple nice plays. Nice post up, got inside position and got created an and one late in the game. Omax Prosper had a couple big minutes here in the second half. Knocking down a 3, getting to the rim for a dunk, playing high level, high energy basketball, even if he wasn't. He's not a huge offensive threat. Overall, it was a nice all around performance. The Mavs found a way to win a game that they absolutely needed to. I mean, look, they've struggled as of late. There's no denying that whatsoever. Their last since the Portland game, they've lost 8 of their last 10 games before tonight. Like, this was a much needed win for a team that has obviously struggled a lot. Obviously, beating New Orleans would have been nice, but at this point, it kind of is what it is. What are you going to do about it? And I mean, look, you look at the schedule for the rest of the month, basically leading up to the All-Star break. You got what should be a win against Charlotte, no matter who. I mean, you should win that game even without Luka. Minnesota's gonna be tough. OKC's they're gonna be healthier this time. It's second night to a back-to-back as well. That's probably a loss. Boston, probably a loss. Washington, you would hope that's a win. New Orleans, Detroit, we'll see what happens. New Orleans has played better as of late, and Detroit's just having a pretty good year. Cleveland, obviously, that's probably a loss. Philly could definitely be a win. Boston, again, probably a loss. And then Houston, tough game, but then Sacramento potentially a win, Golden State potentially a win, and Miami potentially a win leading into the All-Star break. That leaves us with, I mean, without Luka at this point, probably what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 more games leading up until the All-Star break. If the Mavs can win like 7 of them, that would be ideal. Will that happen? Probably not, but I'm just hoping at this point that they can squeak out every last night. I don't care how close they are. I don't care how tough they are. Just got to find a way to win some games so that we can maintain a decent standing in the league standings. I mean, at this point, we're the 7th seed, but we are 11.5 games back, just like the Lakers, a game back of the Clippers, 2.5 games back of the Nuggets. Like, obviously have not lost touch of the top 4 seeds and are not too far behind, really, even the 3 seed with the Nuggets, or I mean, the Grizzlies. We're only 3 games back. So just got to find consistency, try to stabilize and find a little bit of a groove. And if this team can do that, then I think there is potential to where Luka comes back hopefully very soon, post All-Star break, hopefully right after the All-Star break, ideally. I don't know exactly what his timeline looks like, but that feels like a pretty safe estimate, considering that will be February the 21st when the Mavs play their first game post All-Star break, and that'll be another month from today. Luka's starting to do some on the court stuff, starting to move around. He's not really jumping or moving particularly great yet, but that's, as a Mavs fan, that's probably the goal at this point, I think, in my mind at least, as a target for getting Luka back, so they can just survive until then and be hanging out somewhere in that 7 to 8 seed in the West and not falling too far behind, not below 500, for example. I wouldn't feel too bad about this. Like, overall, it's been rough as of late, but this is a team that's slumping in large part because of all the injuries, because of not having their best player, because of not having Kyrie for a good chunk of the past couple weeks as well. It's been tough, and it's definitely boiled down to other guys needing to step up on a consistent basis. And some nights that happened. I mean, against the Lakers, we saw that, and we see it in moments. I mean, they were up 19 against the Nuggets. That was a very winnable game. They showed up for 3 quarters and just didn't show up in the 4th quarter. A big game tonight where, yeah, Kyrie's back, but they didn't play amazing, and they found a way to win in a game that they were dominating at halftime and then really had a bad 3rd quarter, but found a way. And that's gonna be the biggest key. Kyrie, he's having a hyper efficient season, 43%, 56% effective field goal percentage, having a great year. Need him to be a 25 point per game scorer on good efficiency for the next month or so. PJ Washington, keep shooting the 3-ball well. 37% is beautiful. Klay Thompson, 38%. I'd love to see that up a little bit more. You're freaking Klay Thompson, but his effort defensively is there. And honestly, I don't think his contributions have been bad. Yes, his numbers are far below what you expect from him through his career, but he's not the same player he once was. And I still think he's a real contributor and a useful player to this team, and still has been a useful asset. Spencer Dinwiddie, the consistency as a shooter hasn't always been there, but he has some nice moments, and he certainly gives you a little bit more of a playmaker who's not going to turn the ball over a ton as well. Which is another valuable skill set for sure to have. Najee Marshall, yeah, he's only 30% from 3 for the season, but he has a tendency to make big plays in certain games, especially without Luka, and was very big tonight down the stretch in the 4th quarter on both ends of the court, making J-Dub work, and then making a couple big plays on the offensive end of the court as well. Derek Lively doesn't seem like he's going to be out all that long with an ankle sprain. Like, hopefully he'll be back soon, can stay healthy, can be a contributor. Getting that Lively Gaffer duo back healthy for consistency, like getting those guys together for the majority of games, would really help as well. Quentin Grimes is a 40% 3-point shooter, having a great year. Would love to have him back healthy as well, of course. He's healthy, but hopefully he stays healthy and continues to play well, continues to shoot the 3-ball well. I really like, the end of bench type guys on this team, guys like Jaden Hardy, Olivier Maxence Prosper, are guys who I feel like certainly have the skill set to become useful players in the rotation when need be. I mean, we've seen it from Jaden Hardy at multiple moments throughout the season. Max Prosper, not quite so much, but he has good moments, and I think the Mavs are going to need him at times for some of those good moments. Same thing with a guy like Max Kleber. If those guys can just play their role, make a few shots, be somewhat efficient, then they're going to be valuable as well. And just overall, at the end of the day, do I have ridiculously high hopes for this team? No, especially not without Luka. But a much needed win tonight, and the type of win that gives you a pathway to sustained, hopefully, trying to build some momentum. It'd be really nice if this was 2 in a row, but it's not. And unfortunately, that's out of our control at this point. What happened in New Orleans is what it is. It's the past. And so hopefully they can find a groove and find a way to win some of these tough games, because they're going to have some tough games coming up. If they can take care of business in the games they should win, and maybe win a couple of the games they probably shouldn't, then that will put them in a good position to come out here and fight until Luka gets back. And once Luka gets back, hopefully the train really gets back on the tracks. We can start pushing towards the top 4 seed again. Although I say that if we have another 15 games, we're only going to have about 25 games left in the season for the Mavs to make that push. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it's possible. I really don't know. We're going to have to see how the season progresses, but this was a huge win and definitely a stabilizing win for a Mavs team that has been reeling. So I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.